Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm a former Boeing 737 pilot and a member of the PMDG 737 tech team. Welcome back to another Ryanair Real Ops, today flying the 737-800 from Milano Malpensa to Palermo, which is a beautiful airport in the south of Italy. Now, at this point, thank you very much to Aerosoft already, who gave me a review copy of Milano, which is one of those airports that have really been missing from my simulator so far. And I'm just really happy that they recently made it compatible with the new sim and then even gave me a review copy for the channel. Now let's get straight into this and board our 737 to get ready for today's flight. Now let's take a seat over here, and as you can see we're flying one of the older Ryanair 737s with the Echo India Delta Charlie Oscar. Correct equipment options all installed in this aircraft, of course, and well, then let's just get going. So the battery is coming on, external power is coming on. So, automatic stick shaker self-test on the startup over here, which is something new in the aircraft. Now let's go ahead and do the config checks over here. We can do the fire test. And the bell cutout works as well, beautiful. Then let's go ahead and test that. Let's go ahead and test the cargo fire extinguisher, which works just fine. And then we go up to the top. Voice recorder is coming on. Clackers, number 1 and number 2 are tested. Voice recorder tested. And finally we can turn on the IRS, and then let's take a seat on the captain's seat of our 737. Now, we'll start by going right down into the electronic flight bag over here and importing our flight plan, which we got over here, and then let's have a very quick look. So, starting on the significant weather chart, as you can see there is the entire flight covered with this area number 1, which is moderate turbulence, from level 160 to level 400, so we can't really avoid that at all. We'll just have to deal with it, unfortunately. Now, let's have a look into the airport weather and see if that may be any better at least. So, Milano, clear skies, temperature 10, and Palermo, cloudy, temperature 17 degrees though. Our alternate in Catania, beautiful weather. Absolutely nothing to complain about, and take that from a German, my friends. So, departing in 18 minutes over here on the Delta Charlie Oscar, which is correct, Costa Next 6, flight level 350, which is the optimum flight level due to the winds today. Now with that, let's check the fuel. 6.5 is minimum, and I really don't see any reason to take more than that. So let's go ahead, load plane from SimBrief, and then we can choose a total of 6,500 kilograms down here. So that's loaded, then we can start with our procedures. And just while I'm on it, I did just notice that I have misassigned my controller over here. Let me quickly fix that one. So we'll be using that as tiller. I do just like having a separate tiller over here. Cool. So, traffic, terrain, airport, and on the other side also traffic, terrain, airport. On the left side, oxygen mask test is good. Love it. So let's go down into the FMC. We'll start with the data link, ATS and ATIS request, and we'll go for Lima India Mike Charlie. Request that, Milano, and then we can go into the IDAN page. Cross-check a 737-800, 26K rating, nav database up to date, IRS position, we can copy and paste that, and then we can start entering our flight plan. Now, Ryanair does not have flight plan uplinks, so we are just going to type it manually, but you will notice how quickly that's gonna go. But first things first, the ATIS just arrived, so let's just have a very quick look. Milano, ATIS Oscar, Romain use 35 left and right, wind 225 at 5, car walk 10 degrees 1013. Beautiful. Alright, let's get started. Lima India Mike Charlie to Lima India Charlie Juliet with a Romeo Yankee Romeo 866 Victor, I think? Yeah, Victor. Okay, so departing from Romeo 35 right, and our set is the Lagan 6 India departure. Now for that one we will probably need some initial transition over here. So let's have a look into that. Welcome Italy, my friends. So airport chart and parking stand chart. Now sits, and this is where things are gonna get interesting. So first of all, we do want to find the en route part. So Lagen, here it is. Oh, this is 9 X-ray though, not exactly ours. Which one is filed? The Lagen 6 India. So let's find that. There's a Zulu, there's a uniform. Lagen 6 India, here it is. And that one is starting from Dogup. So next we are going to find anything that takes us towards Dogup. And for this I'm basically left with a little bit of guesswork as well here. So we do need some of those transitions. So let's see, we're gonna start with Mike Papa. Anything useful here? No. No. Saronno is the wrong direction. Telva? Also no. Interesting. What else do we have available? What about the... No, we just had the Dogat. Well, that's it, isn't it? So that's off the correct runway. Dogup 6 Tango. Here it is. And then we got the Lagen 6 India. Perfect. And now we can go for the arrivals. That one is a little bit easier. So we'll go with the ILS approach runway 25, which interestingly enough is not available in the database, as you can see. For that reason, we'll have to choose the localizer Zulu approach runway 25. We are arriving from Giano, so let's select the Giano 5 Lima, and we're coming from Lavru. And now we can enter the rest of the route. So we'll go direct to Bakro. Then we'll fly direct to Elba, which is that first one. Then we'll fly direct to Ronab, this one, and finally direct Giano, which we can copy and paste from here. Alright, activate, and now for the performance initialization. Cost index 6, reserve fuel 2.8, zero fuel weight 57.2. Cruise level 350, the wind up there 317 at 53. Temperature 5 degrees below ISA, so minus 59. Transition altitude 6001. Now for the performance, we'll take a noise abatement procedure number 2, so acceleration in 1000. So VNAV climb page 250 below 100, and now for the legs page to cross-check our sit. Straight out to Mike Charlie 604 above 2300, left turn Mike Charlie 613 220 above 5000, and then towards Dogup above 6000. And from there we are going to join the second half. Oh, I better pin that one before we lose it again. So which chart is this? 10-3 Hotel. This one. Okay, good. So that's that, and then we need the Lagen 6 India, which is Dogup to Farak, Tonda, and Lagen above level 110. Okay. Good, so all of that is checked. Finally, Lima India Mike Charlie, straight at 6 miles, then a right turn to Sierra Romeo November, Saronno, and that is our engine out. Well, and with that we've set up everything that we could down here. So let's now go into the rest of our cockpit preparation. The rest is done fairly quickly, as we are more than familiar with the 737's procedures by now. So level 350, our destination, I do believe is at sea level, but let's see. Yeah, doesn't have a runway waypoint, but it is at sea level, so we'll keep 0. Okay, the EFIS is more or less set up, then flight directors are going on. The heading is going to go to the runway heading, which is 346. Initial climb will be by ATC, probably something around 5,000 or so. And for the courses, we don't have any conventional backups on this SID, so let's just use 346 on both sides like that. Okay, so frequencies. Let's see what we got. We need the general airport chart here, and we got delivery 1209 and the west ground, which is here 1 to 1.9. So 1 to 1.9, and then we need the tower for 35 right, 1236. I will deselect the ILS frequencies because they just clutter our displays a bit. In the middle we do not need anything here, so Squawk 2000 standby, 1 to 1.5. Alright, and that's our setup completed. Beautiful, so let's move right on. Actually, I forgot the M4A. Let's just quickly set that, 1750. And did I ever mention that I love how quickly you can set the M4A on the new 737? Here we go. Alright, cool, so that's done. Then let's move on into requesting our IFR clearance. For that we'll go down into the data link, ATS, ATC log, and we have Milano information Oscar. Then let's go departure clearance, so H is Oscar, stand, where are we? 513. And the station will be Milano. Buongiorno. And yes, I put that G on purpose over there. Okay, sent. So clearance request is on the way. And in the meantime, we can start saying hello to our passengers. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel. In the name of Ryanair, welcome aboard our Boeing 737-800 on our flight to Palermo. Today's flight time is going to be approximately an hour and 20 minutes, expecting a smooth flight in 35,000 feet or about 11,000 meters altitude. For the time being, sit back, relax and make yourself comfortable, and we will get back to you with the latest weather when we start our approach to our destination airport. Thank you very much for your attention, and again, welcome aboard. I'm not gonna even attempt an Italian version, so just don't ask, okay? So, clearance request stand by, and here's the clearance. So, cleared to Lima India Charlie Juliet via Dogot 6 Tango, that's 35 right, Dogot 6 Tango, maintain altitude 5,000, and departure 118805, and finally Squawk 2451, which is set. Beautiful. Expect 35 right, Wilco, send, and closed. Good. So then let's start with our departure briefing. Threats for today's departure, a little bit of terrain on the runway track, and I think I actually put a wrong engine outset here. It's straight ahead to 3 miles, and then it's a turn to Saronno. Okay, so we're going from Lima India Mike Charlie to Lima India Charlie Juliet, Romeo Yankee Romeo 866 Victor. The routing is via Lagen, direct Bacro, Elba, Rona, Giano, and the ground distance on this 560 versus 565. Perfect. 3.3 remaining and 2.8 required, giving us around 15 minutes. Time UTC 1204, altimeter 1013, reading 760. MFRA 1750, flight directors are on minus master, and the standby instruments are set. Left seat takeoff, 35 right, flaps 5, noise 2, and engine outset straight at 3 miles, then a right hand turn to Saron, note to hold, and 5,000, and if we need to come back, 35 left is available as landing runway. Now for our emergencies, we'll do exactly as briefed in the crew room, and taxi is a pushback to the right hand side, taxi out south around the airport. So I do assume somewhere down here via hotel to the holding point. Maybe they give us a runway crossing, but that is unlikely. So our departure is the Dogap 6 Tango, followed by the Lagan 6 India, which is an immediate right hand turn 356 inbound to waypoint 604 above 2300, which we got, and then a left turn via 613 max 220 above 5000 to Dogap, and thereafter we got a couple of RNAV waypoints, and that's it. Initial climb 5000, contact departure when advised by the tower. Any questions? No? Alrighty. Then that's our briefing completed, so let's start the APU and let's start doing our performance. So we got a zero fuel weight of 57.2, and that is checked. 63.7 gross weight, which is checked as well. Then let's go for our performance. Milano 35 right, import, compute, flaps 5, takeoff 2, 40 degrees. So takeoff 2, 40 degrees, 87.8, flaps 5, we'll copy and paste the CG, and the takeoff speeds 140, 140, 144. All of those check, so we can use those, and set 144 up here. Cool. Trim is 5.2 units, so let's set that, and then we are good to go. So, safety inspection checklist, and before start checklist down to the line, please. Services and shocks checked, maintenance status checked, batteries on, electric hydraulic pumps on, landing gear lever down, ship's library checked, IRS mode selectors nav, gibbons 1, 2, 3 removed, probe covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 removed, light tests. Did I at some point mention that I keep forgetting this in the sim? Alright, light test is checked, oxygen test 100%, yaw damper on, nav transfer and display switch is normal and auto, fuel is 6.5 required, 6.5 on board, 6 pumps on, cabin utility IV galley power on, emergency exit lights on, fast modes on, window heat on, air cannon press, PEX auto bleeds on set, pressurization mode selector, auto, instruments cross checked, auto brakes RTO, hydraulics normal, speed brake, down detent, parking brake set, stop and cutout switch is normal, wheel by fire warning checked, radius radar and transponder set and standby, rudder and aileron trims 3 and 0, takeoff briefing discussed, PA complete, FMC CDU set, and 1 on ES bucks, automatic, reduced 22k, speeds 40, 40, 44 set, stop trim 5.2 set, performance weight and balance sign send, phones off, EFB, airplane mode stowed, flight runners and cockpit are locked. Now locked, and waiting for the doors. So, prepare position for pushback and departure, please. We do want to release the ground power, yes. And the parking brake is set, so the chocks can be removed as well. Okay, perfect. Then we've done everything that we needed to do up here, so let's go for our pushback clearance. So, doors closed, passengers seated, before start checklist complete. Milano ground, buongiorno, Ryanair 866 Victor, request pushback and startup.
Ryanair 866 Victor, pushback and startup approved, face east.
Pushback and startup approved, face east, Ryanair 866 Victor. Before start checklist below the line, air complex off, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, transponder out off, before start checklist complete. Ground from flight deck. Please confirm that all doors and hatches are closed, ground equipment is removed and the bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed, Captain. Roger, thank you. We're clear to push and start facing... Well, there is just one direction from here, so clear to push and start, parking brake is set. Waiting for your signal. Roger, stand by. Stand by. So they are connecting the tuck, and here we go. So nose is definitely gonna go to the right. So release parking brake, please. Parking brake released. Thank you. Start on the pushback, stand by for engine start. And here we go. So I wonder how GSX is going to push us over here. We do have a profile for this airport. That's why I was a little bit surprised to see nose left and nose right as pushback options. Because, you know, I would kind of have expected something that tells me a little bit more, because nose left, facing terminal.
Flight 1028, heading to Falconeer Borsellino Airport. Our estimated flight time is approximately 80 minutes. Please pay close attention to the upcoming safety demonstration.
So let's see what GSX is going to do out of this. I'm going to delay the engine start a little bit, since we are so close to the roads over here.
Remember, your seatbelt must be fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is illuminated. Please return your seatbacks and tray tables to the upright position and ensure that your window blinds are open for takeoff and landing. Mobile phones and electronic devices must
But this is surely looking interesting.
devices like laptops must be securely
Are they pushing us like completely into the building? As mentioned, I do have a profile for this airport. Of course, the GSX guys are now just going to say, well, it doesn't matter that you have a profile if the profile is bad. But the problem with that is that they expect me as a user to fix this, and I have no way of even knowing it unless I completely check through the profile. So yeah, as you can see, this is rather garbage. Come on, at least pull me forward now. I'm going to wait a little bit. Nope. God, this sucks. GSX. Engine 2 start. Yeah, looks like the pushback is really completed. So, park and brake is set. And 2, all pressure, and 1. 25%.
Runway 35 right, taxi via Alpha Echo Charlie Charlie Alpha.
Look at that, parking on the road, vehicles driving through us. Ah, I feel the immersion factor that GSX brings to my simulator. Okay, starter, cutout, monitor 2, and starting 1. And 2. Oil pressure. And 1. So there's a clear signal already received. And ground flight deck, we got 2 good starts. Prepare the airplane for taxi. See you on the left side with a pin, and have a good day. Bye bye. Start a cutout, monitor 1, 1 stable. Flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral. Rudder, full left, full right, and neutral. Before taxi checklist. Generators on, APU off, start switches continuous, probe heat on, RDS off, air conditioning, PAX auto, bleeds on, isolation valve, auto, flaps 5 required, 5 selected, and the green light, stop trim 5.2 set, start levers idly turned, flight controls checked, recall checked, before taxi checklist complete. Ryanair 866 Victor, request taxi. So let's see whether they're going to clear us southbound or with a runway crossing. Ryanair 866 Victor, taxi, runway 23, correction 35 right via Sierra, Kilo, Whiskey, Golf Echo, Charlie, Charlie Hotel, Charlie Alpha. Okay, so, Kilo, Whiskey, Golf Echo, So we are crossing at the holding point of 35 left and then to the full length. Good. The left side is clear, the right side is clear. Parking brake released, config, check. And another vehicle to go through, just to make it a round offer. The only good news here is that we got going before the Thai A350 over there, which apparently also had a wheel pushback.
Yankee Golf Whiskey. Runway 35 left taxi via Yankee Golf Whiskey Thai 941.
Okay. So we'll get clear of the apron, go right on Whiskey, and once we are over there, which is the next taxiway to the right now, once we are there, we can do the checklists. So here's Kilo. Not gonna take that one, but we'll go straight onto Whiskey. These are some lovely textures on the apron over here. I really like the taxiway as well. The ground polygon on this one is nice. Okay, before takeoff checklist down to the line. Config, check, flaps, 5, 5 and the green light, step from 5-2 set. Takeoff briefing. It's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 35 right, flaps 5, noise abatement procedure 2, takeoff speeds 140, 140, 144 set. And the tax auto bleeds on, anti-eyes off, the sit straight ahead, and almost an immediate right-hand turn. Climbing 5000, contact departure when advised on 118805. MSA is very high on the extended center line, so engine out straight at 3 miles, right turn, start on, no climbing 5000. Any questions? No? Okay, then that's our takeoff briefing complete. And cabin secure, before takeoff checklist complete down to the line. Very good, so it's just a little taxi now. What we'll do, as any good low-cost pilot is going to do, and go up to 30 knots, of course. So there's one aircraft at the holding point there that's currently lining up. Then we are going to cross the runway behind him. And I gotta say, with the runway crossing, this taxi becomes quite a bit shorter, because there is a good chance here in Malpensa that they actually send you southbound and then all the way around the runway.
Give way to the wind load 21, Thai 941.
We'll just have to wait for that 737 to get away from that runway. That should hopefully not take too long though. Unless, of course, he is just standing on the runway. In that case, we might have to wait.
Rotation 103, taxi to parking via Delta Mike Charlie Echo Alpha.
So, EasyJet's going to the other runway as well. It's rather busy over here. Didn't expect that. Well, I should have expected it, because Malpensa is a large airport. Ryanair 866 Victor, request crossing runway 35 left.
Ryanair
Crossing runway 35 left approved, Ryanair 866 Victor. So I don't know why that guy is just standing there, not even correctly aligned, and just doing nothing, but I don't care. Let's just trust behind him. That might cost us our winglet, but you can't have it all, huh? Meanwhile, is there someone just standing on the holding point and doing nothing in first place? Especially with a clear runway. There is nobody on there. Oh, he's gone, thank you. Okay, so we turn left over here. He said via Golf Echo, Charlie, Hotel and Charlie Alpha. So left here. And then first to the right, and we are departing behind the EasyJets.
With Malta 7875, taxi to parking via Lima Delta Mike Romeo Yankee.
Always interesting navigating an airport like this. But they do have really nice ground textures here, so I do actually enjoy it. And the view on the Alps over there is fantastic, isn't it?
Switching to tower, Alpine 19er Hotel uniform.
Look at that view. That's amazing, isn't it? Not so much once an engine failed, but prior to that... So, 35 right is next to the right, and then we're at the runway. Alright, the last easy in front of us is going. And we should hopefully get a handoff to tower any moment. Okay, that's the Cat 2 and 3 holding point. We are already cleared across that. And then there's the wigwag, so that's probably our holding point. No comment on those lights though. That always makes me wonder if the scenery has been beta tested, and apparently this one has not. No comment, huh? Okay, and if we don't get a handoff, I don't care. Malpensa Tower, Chow, Ryanair, 866 Victor, ready for departure.
Ryanair 866 Victor, Malpensa Tower, hold short of runway 35 left, A321 mile final.
We are on runway 35 right, Ryanair 866 Victor. Oh no, not that bug again. There is nobody on final here. We had that in Manchester earlier.
Ryanair 866 Victor, negative. You are holding short of runway 35 right. Runway 35 left, hold short A320 on the runway.
Whatever. Ryanair 866 Victor, request takeoff clearance on runway 35 right. You're of course never supposed to say that, but I know that Say Intentions with its AI background sometimes needs a phrase like that to understand what you're on. See? Thank you, runway 35 right, cleared for takeoff, Ryanair 866 Victor. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. No comment on that. Before takeoff checklist below the line. We'll keep the terrain on. So, MCP set, transponder, TIRA, strobe lights on, landing lights on, before takeoff checklist complete. Takeoff. By the way, I do like how the two engines are not running up exactly the same, but that one needs a little bit longer than the other. That's a nice little feature that PMDG have built in there. So, takeoff thrust set, indications normal. Checked. Gear up. LNAV. Back up. 118.805, Ryanair 866 Victor. Flaps 1. Speed checked. Flaps 1. Departure, ciao, Ryanair 866 Victor, passing 2,300 to climbing 5,000. Flaps up. Speed checked. Flaps up. Left heading 225, climbing 5,000, Ryanair 866 Victor. Heading select. What a lovely view this is. So give me speed 220 already. Climbing flight level 210, Ryanair 866 Victor. Set. Flight level 210 checked. And guard flaps up, no lights. Set standard. Select VNAV. And after takeoff checklist. So, speed and event 250. And we got 133.18, Ryanair 866 Victor. Milan radar, ciao, Ryanair 866 Victor, flight level 54, climbing 210. Command A.
Good afternoon, Milano
QNH 1013, Ryanair 866 Victor. So, after takeoff checklist, aircon and press, 2.6, climbing and set. Altimeters, standard, passing flight level 69. Now, after takeoff checklist complete, and release the cabin chute windows. Okay. So, we made it out of Milano. Ryanair 866 Victor, any chance to proceed direct Echo Lima Bravo?
Ryanair 866 Victor, clear direct
Direct Echo Lima Bravo, Ryanair 866 Victor. Okay, Echo Lima Bravo is on top and execute. LNAV available. LNAV. Altimeters, passing level 100, climbing level 210, 10 checks. The fuel is balanced, with 4 pumps on, lights off, APU off, air command press, 3.8 climbing set. Climbing flight level 280, Ryanair 866 Victor. Set, flight level 280 checked. Okay, so recall is checked, 1 to 1.5 monitoring, and then we can lock on to CPDLC. So, Lima, India, Romeo, Romeo, I believe, and send. Alright, speed window is closed so that we are accelerating, and then we can release the passengers as well. And that's everything we had to do for the time being. So let's get up the sunshade, because the sun is rather low already. You surely need it. Well, and with that out of the way, I'd say sit back, relax, and enjoy this quick flight from the very north to the very south of Italy, and then I see you all on the approach into Palermo. So we just got the handoff to approach, 18.65. Let's give him a call. Palermo approach, Ryanair 866 Victor, passing level 146, descending level 100. Expecting the ANAF Yankee runway 7, Ryanair 866 Victor. Ryanair 866 Victor, request heading 170. Okay, ANAF 7. They've literally just changed the runway. Descent flight level 060, Ryanair 866 Victor. Right heading 170, Ryanair 866 Victor. Heading select and heading 170. So they just changed the runways here, so let's go ahead and program the new one. It's the ARNAV. Has to be Zulu, it always is. Xosi transition, execute. Then let's put Xosi on top. Like that. Ryanair 866 Victor, can we proceed direct Xosi? Because that would make our life a lot easier. In the meantime, let's start setting up for the new runway. Thank you, direct Xosi, Ryanair 866 Victor. LNAV available, LNAV, VNAV. Okay, I suppose that is going to work. Now, of course they have to change... Yeah, we had that. Of course they have to change the runway right when we are on approach, but they always do. so that's okay. What do we have? Exorzi, Bipso, Max 185, then we got Waypoint 511, then we have that one at 2300, 3-degree glide slope, and down to the minimum of 880. Which effectively becomes 920 since we need to add 40 feet there. So 920 is selected. Then we got a 3-degree glide down to Charlie Juliet 512, which we have in here. And then the go around, which is intercept 336 inbound to Supi. And we got that one climbing 3000. Which we've got, and that's it. The initial turn, max 185 knots. Alright, beautiful. So we got that. Then let's quickly program runway 07 in here. 10-mile ring, and I'll do a 5-mile ring just because of all the stuff that involves the non-precision approach here. So, altimeters, passing level 100, descending 6000, 10 checks. Fuel balance, 4 pumps on. Lights on, angle of bank 25, air cannon press, 4.0 descending set, 1000 mils on, recall checked, 1 to 1.5 is deselected, and the cabin already knows what they're doing, so we don't need to give them that signal anymore. Alright, cool, so all that stuff is done now, let's go ahead and rebrief the approach. So, threats for the arrival now, QNH blunder error, and that's about all we got there. So let's do a very quick check of the FMS. Descending altitude 2000, Ryanair 866 Victor. Set 2000 checked, set QNH. 1014 cross check, passing 8.5 now. Checked. Okay, so 250 below 100, forecast is in, fixed rings runway 07, 10 miles, 5 miles. The approach starts at 511 and 2300, and that's actually the altitude to which I will descend over here, no matter what ATC tells us. Speed brake coming in. 3-degree glide down to the minimum 920, go around left turn 335 to Ixupi, climbing 3000. Max 185 in the turn, so we gotta keep the flaps out for that. Apart from that, I've got nothing for our approach here. So we pretty much have our landing weight now, flaps 30 on this one, flap auto brakes 3 to the K to the left, and then taxi to the apron. Any questions? No? Okay, then that's our briefing complete. So not much to do for a frisk here. I will change to terrain already because of, well, I am going to keep terrain already because of the high mountain that is just to the south of the airport. 7.7 MSA, but in the north it's just water, so nothing to worry about. Okay, cool. So let's do a very quick frisk check. Frequency is not applicable, fixed ring 0710.5, idlen's not applicable, stamp instrument set, courses not applicable either. I suppose we can set the final approach course of 063 over here. If we really want to, then at least it looks like we've done some work and earned our money. Like that. So, approach checklist, altimeters and instruments, trust checked, approach aids, checked and set, approach checklist complete. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it. Temperature is 11 degrees, then we don't need anti-ice on the way in, and everything is set up. Now, the ILS to runway 25 is a beautiful one to fly, because you can easily fly down on, well, an ILS, but the RMP approach to runway 07 is quite a bit more interesting. Now, gotta be totally honest, runway 02, the circling approach, is the greatest of them all, but that's not active today. I landed once on runway 20, the opposite side of 02, and that one was a very interesting one. But for us, for the time being, very easy going, good weather conditions, and so far so easy. Might as well just pin those charts down here. For later we'll vacate to the left and we'll request something over here, gate 211 or 210, something along those lines. But for the time being, let's continue on that other approach. Maximum speeds 180 at 9 miles, yeah, Not going to be a problem with the 185 restriction at Bipso anyway. So we're inbound to Bipso now. Now we just need the clearance for the approach. In the meantime, the plane already starts slowing down, and it looks like it needs some help. The approach is rather tight here, so we better get it to decelerate early already. You just gotta absolutely love flying into this bay over here. Beautiful terrain on the right hand side. And then you're going into here, the airport's located over there. Unfortunately we don't see the mountain right now, but I'm sure that's going to come later. So, flaps 1. Speed checked. See, this is one of those typical problems going into here, with the 5,000 restriction at the Bipso. Oh no, at Exilu, that speed reduction for Bipso is not easy. And flaps 5. Speed checked. Cleared RNAV runway 7 Ryanair 866 Victor. Flaps 5. 119.05 Ryanair 866 Victor. Bye bye. Easy Tower, ciao, Ryanair 866 Victor, established RNAV runway 07. Approach and descent. 1000 feet set, VNAV path, speed interlinked. You don't say. We are established on that runway for landing, Ryanair 866 Victor. But sometimes I really wonder why ATC is so strange. Okay. Runway 07, clear to land, Ryanair 866 Victor. FAF 2300, no flags. All checked, no flags. So we are clear to land. When all that stuff is done already. So the wind is crossed, slightly tail, 5 knots when I compare the TAS with the ground speed. So let's go gear down, flaps 15. Landing checklist to flaps. Start switches, continuous, recall, check, speed brake, out, green light, landing gear, down 3 green, auto brake, 3 set, holding at flaps. And flaps 30. Speed checked, flaps 30. Okay, let's complete the checklist. Flaps 30, 30, green light, and landing lights on landing checklist complete. So you don't need this anymore. And here's the mountain I meant. That is the beautiful one, isn't it? So, go around altitude set. You are not going to level off, my friend.
100.
Checked.
Minimums.
Okay, recycle flat directors. And here we go, all manual. We do have realistic turbulence enabled. The wind is coming from the left though, over the ocean, so it's not that bad. If it was coming over the mountain, then we would be in severe wind shear over here.
500.
And believe me, I've been there. Not nice. Birds.
40, 30, 20, 10.
Speed brakes up, thrust goes normal, idle reverse. I think most of the birds went on top of us, but we may have hit one or two. Ryanair 866 Victor, we had a possible bird strike over the runway threshold. So, 60 knots. So, off to the left.
Ryanair 866 Victor, welcome to Ryzen. Contact ground on 121.625.
121.625, Ryanair 866 Victor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Palermo. We hope you enjoyed your flight today. Did you know that Palermo is famous for its rich history?
Crazy ground, Ryanair 866 Victor. Request taxi to gate 211.
Thank you for flying with Ryanair. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened to reach our final stop.
Ryanair 866 Victor, terminal gate 211 via Alpha Tango Hotel Romeo. Stay.
Alpha Tango Hotel Romeo gate 211, Ryanair 866 Victor. Alright, so runway is vacated, then let's clean her up. You said that, you don't need to repeat that. And I am in fact not going to repeat it either here. Okay, so recall is checked and that's it. So I think we've had the engines run on the low power setting for long enough now, so shut down engine 2. And then we'll taxi straight to the gates. So, Tango, Hotel, Romeo, gate 211. So that's Juliet over here. We are going to take the one thereafter. And reset that master caution. Ryanair 866 Victor, did you copy that we had a possible bird strike over the runway threshold? I told the tower but never got a response, so...
Ryanair 866 Victor, copy that. Ryanair 866 Victor. We'll have the runway inspected for bird activity. Proceed with caution.
Thank you, and please advise if you find any remains of birds. And of course GSX has crashed in the background, so let's open that shit. Ah, it's actually saved that anyway. Yeah, you don't need to repeat that. Roger. Then he's not gonna get anything else than a Roger from me either. Technically speaking, we should not have retracted the flaps. But I know they are not going to find anything, so...
Ryanair 31 Golf Papa, cleared for push and start.
So, 212, we have the next one, 211. Ryanair's 866 Victor, did you find any remains of birds? So, no marshaller. Welcome to Italy. Well, we take the first one here. So, stopping roughly here. Two blue, one red, engines dead. Cabin crew, all doors in park. Okay. So, both engines below 20 and transit shutdown checklist. Electrical on APU, fasten belts off, probe bleed auto, anti-ice off, voice recorder on, air complex auto, engine bleeds on, APU bleed off, exterior light set, start switches off, auto brake off, speed brake down 10, flaps up and light, parking brake set, start levers cut off, weather radar off, transponder 2000 standby, CB RCB in, and cockpit door unlocked, and that's the transit shutdown checklist complete. So let's make sure we've got all the ground equipment connected. Especially we are looking for... What is GSX doing here again? Yes, request ground power, please. Three, two, one. Alright, and that's it. So, everyone, thank you very much for flying along. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Let me know how you liked that one, especially this approach to Palermo's Runway 7 over here, which is one of my favorites in Europe. And in the meantime, as always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And then I'm really looking forward to see you all again on the next one.